All right, here we are, a week later for Parkside Live with our GAs, our second year grad assistants. Most of them were able to join us tonight, so excited to talk to this group. Thanks for those friends, family, otherwise that came back for this week after some technical difficulties. Rumor has it we broke Facebook. Hey, there's John Larson coming in.
Hey, John.
Hey, John.
But excited about this. This will be fun to get to know this group for those that don't, and to hear a little bit about their graduate assistant experiences. John's still trying to connect. There he is.
Hello?
Hey, John, we've been doing this GA thing for 2 years. You can't.
I just got home. Sorry.
John,
Can't figure out technology.
John, you've been showing up late for work for 2 years. Seriously.
I mean,
I feel like we're back in our events meeting.
I had to show up late for this one, no doubt.
John's actually our morning person, really. So that's
Absolutely. Old soul.
It is, but it is almost your bedtime. So in the interest of that and all the, let's get going. So first of all, thanks everybody for watching. If you have questions for anybody on our panel here, on our group, feel free to fire those away in the chat and we'll get to those. Just a little background, then I'm gonna have everybody introduce themselves, but we started our grad assistant program heading into the 2018-19 year at Parkside. And we started with 13 GAs. 10 of them have now graduated, including this whole crew. So had we have done this last week, none of this group had their master's degree, but commencement was Saturday. So congratulations on that, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
The GAs, and we'll talk more about this, but the GAs for us have become incredibly vital to our operation and make up now about 40% of the Parkside staff. So this group and others that are first year GAs really are a part of our progress and our operation now. So we'll be sad to miss them, but we'll say the tears maybe for like 25 minutes or so from now. We're going to start and let you guys introduce yourselves. Tell everybody who you are, and then what your role was on our staff. So we're going to start with Kylie Block.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Well, as Andrew said, I am Kylie Block, and I was a health and wellness management master's in that whole realm, and it was really exciting. And I am the volleyball GA or I guess was, which is kind of sad to say, for Libria.
We're still paying you until the end of the month, so we expect pretty good output here.
Yeah.
Haley Maysted.
Payment was already received at the beginning of the month.
No, I think you'll get another check. I don't know. We'll have to talk to you.
Okay.
Yeah, you should get another one. Haley, don't start spending that.
I hope so.
I'm counting on that next check.
Technicality. Yeah, hi, everybody. I'm Haley. Like Kylie said, thanks, everybody, for joining in. I am a former women's basketball alum for Parkside, played there, finished out the remainder of my career there, and then upon graduation, enrolled in the master's program and hopped on board with Parkside Athletics as the external relations grad assistant. So got to work really closely with everybody on here and Andrew and the whole gang. So that was really, really fun time over the past 2 years. That's my background a little bit.
Haley holds the unfortunate distinction of being the only GA that reports directly to me, which is not fun. Not, I don't think, but fairly unresponsive and unsupportive. So, no. No. Texas Joe, you are no longer getting paid by us. If you're receiving checks, we expect those back in the form of a donation. But welcome back to the crew here. Thanks for putting your green back on instead of that orange you got going on down there. But introduce yourself to everybody.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. I'm Texas Joe, graduated in spring of 18, and for a year and a half I was an event operations GA. Worked very closely underneath Ryan Ridley alongside John Larson.
Awesome. Texas, well, I did call him Texas. It's pretty much his name now. Joe is now on staff and ticket operations at the same Houston State. So we'll hear a little bit more about that here in a little bit. Brooke, you're up.
I am Brooke Gajewski, and I got my master's degree in sports management, and I worked under Kristen Ortman as the softball GA.
Coach Alcala.
Hi, everyone. My name is Josh Alcala. I got my master's degree in sport management, and I worked as the graduate assistant for women's soccer.
Ari, you're up.
Hey everybody, Ari or Robin Elliott, which is Parkside is pretty much the only place I've ever been known as that because my twin sister's initials are also Ari, so have to have a little distinction. My first year at Parkside, I was the graduate assistant for communications, and then this past summer we grew to SCAM, so now I am the graduate assistant for marketing and promotions. Also I got my master's in sport management.
Thanks, Ari. Okay, we have Texas Joe. Now we got Tardy John. John,
Tardy John.
introduce yourself here.
So my name's John. Hello, everyone. Finishing up actually my 4th year at Parkside. I did undergrad there. In my last semester at undergrad, I kind of got my in with Parkside Athletics as an intern for event operations, which essentially then I moved on to get my master's in sport management, as well as graduate assistant for event and operations alongside Ryan Ridley and Texas Joe.
So this group is a fairly good representation of how our GAs in general are broken down in terms of Parkside graduates versus GAs that have come from other undergraduate experiences. Haley, Joe, and John reference being Parkside grads. The other 4 went to another school. Also kind of representative of, although a little bit slanted today, of about half of our GAs are coaching grad assistants, work as assistant coaches, and the other half are kind of the operational side of things, helping us just with kind of the business and operations of the department. So good representation of a lot of different experiences in this group. And then mostly we're part of the sport management program. So the sport management master's degree at Parkside is wrapping up year number 3. So kind of along with the growth of that program has been the creation and growth of our GA program. So really good partners with Professor Miller, who most of you had, and the whole crew in HGSM. So with that, I want to ask all of you, we'll try to just go in whatever order you want until it just becomes a total cluster. Just tell us a little bit about your favorite moment over the time working at Parkside.
I can kick it off a little bit. I'm sure this is a little bit cliche, but I think it's hard to choose one favorite moment because you have the people. But for me, relating to volleyball specific, I think my favorite moment would be my first year as a GA. And we were playing Grand Valley, and I believe Andrew actually walked out of the gym. I won't hold him too accountable for that, but we were down 8-13 in the 5th set, and it was, some things had to go the right way for us, but with other teams, but we ended up winning in 5, and it was a crazy experience. I believe we won 20-18, so that's a memory that definitely comes to mind right away.
It is so typical that you would somehow call me out in your, and I say that because when Kylie interviewed for her GA position under Coach Berea, and they really have started a new era of Parkside volleyball together as a fairly inseparable team. But when she came in to interview, part of her day was to spend 20 or 30 minutes with me, and she just sat down and started firing off questions immediately, like she was in charge. I was the one trying to get a job. So does not lack for confidence, which is awesome. Thanks, Kylie. Who's next?
I can go. We had this last year, our season was cut short, obviously, but so we didn't actually get to conference, so I have no fun conference stories. But for preseason, we actually ended up not only beating but run ruling Winona State, which they were ranked number 17 at the time and in the nation, and it was cool because I think we also hit like 3 home runs that game. So just they're usually the ones taking us down, and it was kind of fun to beat up on them a little bit.
Josh, you want to finish off our coaches?
Sure. I had I'll give 2 kind of fun moments. The first was I guess I'll go chronologically. The first would have been as an athletic department having all of the people come out to the field when we got a huge snowstorm come in, and everyone was chipping in trying to clear the field off, which was quite a disaster. So that was a lot of fun to see everyone come out. And then, big ups to Mr. Craig for clearing the field off in the end with the big bulldozer, whatnot.
Yeah, he did the most damage.
Didn't he? Yeah. And then the second moment would be I believe it was our last conference game. We went into overtime against Purdue Northwest, scored in overtime, and which that secured our place in the GLIAC tournament.
Awesome.
I could go.
I'll
You want to go? Go ahead. No, I'll go. It's just tying off of Josh's, probably the most unique and crazy moment, we've had. I mean, I think we, the event staff, facility staff, coaching staff shoveled that Wood Road field three straight times before. And then we were leading up to, the first round of the GLIAC tournament, which is one of my favorite times that we've had, just working an event and coordinating an event. I remember 10 minutes before kickoff, actually, in that first game, we had to move everybody out of Wood Road field, out of the stadium, and move down the street to Carthage. And then, just winning that, the men's soccer team, congrats to them for winning that GLIAC tournament final. I remember I was up in the press box with the assistant commissioner for the GLIAC, Danielle Harris, and I remember trying to contain my excitement as I forget his name, but he scored the game-winning goal, and I had to stop the clock, but I was so excited, and I was trying to just contain that excitement. So that was probably my favorite time, coordinating the event, working an event at Parkside. So that was pretty special.
John, you stole mine.
That was yours? Joe, you ran on the field, though.
The brothers are still fighting. They're still
If
fighting.
You can't take mine.
No, it was actually special because we worked so hard to get the field ready, and then when I went, just kind of had to roll with the punches and stay work. And then when men's soccer won it all, that was just kind of one of those moments you have to kind of step back and kind of remember this is why we ultimately do it. We try to revenue and create a good atmosphere because we want them to have a great experience. So that was definitely one of mine. Otherwise, just like the day-to-day in the office was sometimes we're at each other's throats, but it was such a great time in the office with those guys every single day.
Oh, yeah. I got to share an office with the whole entire events crew for my first year.
Until you moved out.
Until I moved out. Hey, you guys moved out too. But I'll go. There's so many great memories over the past 2 years, but mine is kind of a collective group of all of the alumni events that we've put on over the past 2 years have just, one, significantly grown from the first year to the second year. But it was awesome to be able to connect with so many people that hadn't been back to Parkside in years and hadn't seen all of the stuff that we've been doing or hadn't got to connect with some of our new coaches or old coaches or whatever it may be. But being able to see some people get to, come back and walk through the halls of Parkside and the athletic department was really, really cool for me and for them too. So those are some of my favorite experiences.
Yeah, my favorite experience this year would have to be the teddy bear toss. It was just a really cool event to plan, and for those of you who weren't there, for our viewers, during our men's basketball halftime, we had a teddy bear toss. So fans were encouraged to bring teddy bears that were new or lightly loved, or we had some that you could donate $5 and get a little bear. And then at halftime, we threw all the bears onto the court, and then we donated those bears to Aurora Healthcare, one of our corporate partners, and they were going to go to children undergoing treatment at their hospitals. So that was a super awesome day, and I just remember being super nervous the day, like the week leading up, because I was like, what if people don't come? What if no one brings any bears? And I remember one lady walked through the door with a garbage bag full of bears and was like, I didn't know if it was the women's or the men's, and I just wanted to make sure we had enough bears for everyone. And we just ended up handing them out to people in the crowd, and they threw them, and we ended up having 200 bears donated, or over 200, and it was just awesome. And it was so cool to have Chancellor Ford helping us pick up the bears after, just to get the court cleaned off for the guys to come back on. So it was just a really fun day.
Pretty cool that so many of those memories are about other people for all of you. It's pretty awesome. That'll certainly serve you all very well as you keep going, and not surprising either. But I do want you to brag a little bit. So I'm going to ask you in groups to just talk about, I think, maybe the value of your position. So for all of you, you were the first people to ever do your jobs at Parkside. And, you know, adding assistant coaches to sports that normally use only volunteers, adding the positions on our staff that didn't previously exist. So just talk a little bit more specifically about your roles and how you think those were impactful to your specific duty. So I'm going to start with our three assistant coaches. Just talk about, you know, being able to provide that extra set of hands, that support system for the head coach, another recruiter, which has been incredibly huge for all three programs and all of our programs. So just kind of talk about that assistant coach role as a GA.
I can go first a little bit. I think a lot of it has, taken a lot of stress off of the head coaches, and they can take some of like the day-to-day business where we can kind of do those nitty-gritty things, and really they can focus on what they need to get done. And I think too, just personally, it's helped me grow a ton as a person, as well as like we were kind of thrown into the fire, if you want to like put it in a certain way, but
kind of is an understatement.
So I think that was a big thing of why I chose Parkside to begin with too, is because I was going to get to take on this role of like, oh, you're actually like a first assistant coach, whereas other places are like, you're just going to be the GA and do like the paperwork and all that stuff, where it was fun to be on the front line and get to work in the day-to-day operations and those types of things.
Yeah, I think that's huge, Brooke, and having the ability, as you said, to go recruiting and not just do the paperwork, not just do the things that people are like, oh, like, what are you going to do as a GA? Is it just for your masters? But it's so much more than that. And I think the ability for our team and our girls to have not only a set of eyes during gameplay, but for technique. I mean, I am not a setter at all, and we kind of took control of the setters and middles, and we were able to put more of an emphasis then on our defense, and ended up having a little bit of this year and Amy Leo. And so the extra attention that is on them, I think, is really special and important. I mean, one person, could they do it? Yeah, but it's even better when you build a larger crew to help them out. So that's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, and from the women's soccer side, I'll just give a big shout out to Coach Nikolic. I don't know how one person does that job. Like you think about everything that goes in, that's involved with, you know, playing the game, but we also have a big roster of 26 plus players, and handling that many players is very difficult on your own. And, you know, I think that was probably one of the biggest advantages was, you know, no offense to all the younger people in the audience, but I do like to say I was probably the oldest GA probably in the country at 36. So I think that helped as far as like Britt being comfortable with me, like taking over a session or being able to take, you know, half of the team and conduct a session. But the other side of it is recruiting. You know, the Midwest there's a wealth of options and events to go to. And, you know, I think it was pretty handy for us to be able to go to different events at the same time if it called upon. But
I have to say there's a drill that we do in softball, and it's called the double bucket drill. And it's just that it's 2 buckets, and you're supposed to have 2 coaches hitting, and they're going to different like bases at the same time. And somehow Coach Ortman has done it like that forever. And I still don't know how she doesn't pass out by the end of it.
That's awesome.
Superpowers.
We'll go to our external relations duo here. You guys had different roles, but just a little bit about our growth and progress and, you know, SCAM, all things marketing, communications, initiatives with alumni relations, fundraising, corporate partnerships, which both of you really been involved in, all of that. And so just tell us a little bit about that and how you felt like your roles were impactful at Parkside.
Yeah, Robin and I definitely like worked really close together over the past 2 years. And my first year, so as Robin touched on a little bit, my first year, I was pretty consumed with marketing promotions. Well, one, I had marketing promotions, fundraising, and corporate partnerships, and the marketing and promotion side was definitely a time-consuming piece, and you don't really realize sometimes, like, until you do it, how much manpower it really takes to put on, you know, a really good in-game promotion or sponsored game and everything, and like the student workers you need and all that type of stuff. So being able to evolve from kind of being somewhat limited staff the first year, and Robin and Scam and I trying to, you know, put some stuff together and do some really good things, and then Robin taking over that marketing and promotions and being able to give more attention to certain areas, so that I was able to focus more on, you know, the fundraising and the corporate partnerships. And even then, when I stepped into the, you know, alumni relations and fundraising events and alumni relation events, you really learn pretty quickly, like, all of the little details it takes, you know, the registration, setting up all the registration, and then working with the marketing department to get flyers put together so that we can send out emails and put stuff up around the community and that type of thing and market it. So yeah, so it was really, really a great learning experience to know everything that it takes to put on a good event. And the evolution of, you know, part of my role is to also focus a lot on fundraising and the stewardship process of, you know, thanking our donors and making sure that we're constantly reaching out to our alumni base for our sport teams and our donor base and our community, and keeping in constant contact with our corporate partners. And we have some amazing corporate partners that do some amazing things for us and for Parkside Athletics. But it's been a really, really awesome experience to learn all the different aspects of what it takes to, you know, run some good things. But I'll let Robin kind of take over the rest of but
yeah, this year, just kind of going off that, we were able to plan our first ever promotional calendar all the way through the whole year. Even though we didn't get to baseball and softball, we still had stuff planned out, which tied into the corporate partnerships, which was really awesome to kind of see that all laid out, with different giveaways and events that kind of fulfilled that part of the corporate side. So that was really awesome. Do you want, Andrew, do you want what were something else that we did, like the Cub Club? Can I talk about that? Is that this time?
Of course.
Okay.
Love
So,
the Cub Club.
The Cub Club was something
Rangers
that I worked on all year this year, which was super fun and rewarding. I just was going through all the numbers yesterday, and we ended up with 140 kids in the club, from 22 cities in Wisconsin, which is awesome. So they're kind of from everywhere. A lot of them are from Kenosha and Racine and Mount Pleasant, but 22 cities, so a lot of kids. And just looking forward to kind of how that program grows over the years, I think is going to be awesome. I got a lot of good feedback from some of the parents just saying that they loved interacting with the kids, and like that was their biggest thing they took away, was how humble the student athletes were and how they would go up to the kids, even if it was at the YMCA when they would volunteer for RSAC, and I think that's really what it's about, is just kind of making those connections and being able to have the kids interact with student athletes like that.
All right, event and ops. Give me quick answers so we don't run out of time. We want to talk about what you guys are doing next too.
All right, I'll take it. There's so many different things that go into a great event. Tickets to concessions, the team store, game ops, and there was not really the manpower to execute on any sort of really, there were a lot of great ideas, but there really wasn't the manpower to really execute and kind of take the lead on those things. And so that was really the coolest thing for me, was being able to have something assigned to me and just kind of take it and run with it. So for me, I never thought that I would enjoy ticketing as much as I did. I never thought that I would take ticketing and want to make it my next stop after Parkside. But, you know, just these things that we were able to really make into first-class aspects of an event that really elevated the game experience for the fans and for the players. And with how many firsts there were, there's so much growth, and there's so much growth that's going to be able to occur because of people who have my position.
Yeah, Joe pretty much hit it right on there. But I believe for all of us, it was a unique time to be a part of Parkside Athletics. We all know at the time, everyone was pretty much new there, you know, from Andrew to our assistant ADs. So it made that transition pretty nicely. I think in our first year as graduate assistants, we were kind of trying to figure out, you know, what does day-to-day look like? What does these graduate assistantships look like? And, you know, we probably struggled, you know, that first couple months, especially, you know, running events, nonstop events, you know, 30 plus straight days, you know, it wore us out a little bit, but I think we were able to transition well. And we did an amazing job for our first years, and then even a better job, I think, in our second years, as far as how the events were running. I mean, I remember getting so many compliments from opposing officials, opposing teams on how well our hospitality was, how well of our event management and facility set up, our game day staff. We had, you know, the utmost hospitality for each and every event, that no matter what the sport was. So I think we did well enough for the event, like the entire overhaul of the event management, that, you know, we'll be able to transition into those next graduate assistants so they know what to do and what not to do in that case. So it was a great experience running events. Definitely want to, you know, continue in the event and facility field. Never knew I would. I actually wanted to do external relations and fundraising, but now that I've been doing this for a couple of years, I love it. I love coordinating events, and it's just been a great time.
Yeah, Brooke referenced being thrown in the fire, which you all certainly were. And the interesting thing is, we all were, including myself as the AD. So we were taking on so much, and that's been a lot of the fun of what's happened at Parkside. Is we're not afraid to try something new and do something different. And certainly, I think that'll help make us all more adaptable and flexible, and, you know, push through. And obviously right now we've had to do that. And I just want to quickly say, it's been cool for me to watch how much you guys have still got, except for Joe, he's doing stuff other. But you guys are still getting done in the COVID environment, working from home. Like nobody on this call shut it down. And the stuff that's coming out of Ari and Haley and John, and the coaches continuing to be there for our student athletes and continuing to finish out recruiting classes has been really inspiring. All of our staff's done that, but for you guys, just with a couple months left, keep doing your very best and your all for Parkside has been awesome. And again, not surprising, but awesome, and really appreciate that. So I want you guys to tell us a little bit about what you are doing next, what you want to be doing next, what you're looking for. One of the things that's given me the most anxiety over the last couple months, obviously feeling bad for our seniors and our spring athletes, but honestly, it's been the uncertainty of the job market. But some really cool next steps that we know about that I want you to hit on. And then for everybody else, you guys are interviewing, you're networking, you're reaching out to people, which has been great. Just tell us a little bit about what you hope is next. So Kylie, start us off.
All right.
New employees.
I will be the assistant coach at Hope College next year in Holland, Michigan. It's a Division III So kind of going back to my stomping grounds where I found success at my undergrad at Illinois Wesleyan. So I'm going to be the head JV coach and then also a liaison on campus for varsity. I'm specifically working with our Penn attackers. I don't want to take up too much time, but I'm very excited for it. I think the worst thing is that I didn't get to give people hugs when they left because I was like, we'll be back in a week or two. So that's the worst thing. But
Hope's a really good program, so that's awesome.
thank you.
Haley, what about you? What are you thinking?
Well, to be honest, I'm still figuring it out. I have absolutely loved exploring more into the, fundraising and development world and working with corporate partnerships. And so I believe that that's something that I would like to continue doing. What career path that is, I'm not sure yet, but I do know that I've really loved that process and just the building relationships and connections and that type of thing. So really excited to continue my self-growth in whatever way I can as I still figure out my next steps.
Awesome. Coach Alcala, recent news. Congrats on the new gig. Tell us a little bit about that. 2 minutes, guys. We got to go fast.
Yes, I'll be quick. Thank you. So I'll be the assistant men's and women's soccer coach at Illinois College. I'm pretty excited about. It's going to be a fun experience. What I will say is I'm going to miss the Parkside staff basketball games. I had to say it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Brooke?
Well, the job market is frozen, so I am currently in the search for an assistant softball job, and I'm hoping it's out there. I've been interviewing at a couple places, so I'm hoping some news will come soon.
It will. Keep persevering. It will. Understood. All right, Texas Joe, quickly tell us about your new gig. How many tickets are you selling right now?
Well, right now we're selling football season tickets, but at Sam Houston State, which is an FCS school in Huntsville, Texas. There's 2 of us full-time in the department, so I get to have my hands in a little bit of everything. I'm primarily responsible for group sales, overseeing our student workers in the office and on events, and I also have sport oversight of softball and volleyball.
Awesome. Ari?
Kind of like what Brooke said. Jobs aren't really showing up right now, but still looking. I want to work in college athletics, doing marketing promotions, and another avenue would be the National Women's Soccer League, which I think would be awesome. But definitely going to miss Scam. We had a great office, lots of laughs, so going to miss dunking on you guys.
All right, John.
So I've applied for a few events and facilities job. I've interviewed for a few of them as well, but really everything, as you know, is on standpoint right now until we get, some clarity on this fall as far as sports and fans and tenants and stuff like that. So it's a strange time for all of us, so we'll get through it.
Well, you guys are rock stars. Those that aren't hired, they need to be. So everybody listen and get them
Free
jobs.
agent.
You're going to cut us off, which is going to save us our tears. And I think love you guys. We'll miss you. Really proud of all of you. So for doing this.
Thank
Thank you.